Hi, and welcome to the Neoprene Playmat. I'm your host, Matt Piak, and this is Spend My Money Mondays, where we take a look at my budget and figure out how to spend it best. So, as you guys may or may not know, it is now November, which means I get my bank account reloaded. So I add $100 in. So right now my budget's back up to $152.57. I did a trade on the last Spend My Money Mondays, which ended up costing me a total of $37.72 to get all the shipping done. And so that's where the drop from the 90.29 came from. All of that said, as you guys know, I am still looking at Cosmic Frog. It's still on the books. It just hasn't been paid for yet. And so realistically, we're actually looking at a budget of about $97.27. So without further ado, let's hop into it. Let's see what I got going on this week. So to begin with, Cosmic Frog, an update. As you guys know, I'm really psyched about this skirmish game. I think the theme's incredibly unique, and it's just one that is got me all excited. Jim Felly, he is the designer of the game and the one that runs the publisher, Devious Weasel Games, and so he's the one that's putting Cosmic Frog out. He put out this update September 10th a while back saying, hey, these are kind of the days that we think things are going to be coming in. We think things should be here by the 28th. That said, he came out with a new update, or at least he should have. Here we go. This is it. Cosmic Frog arrived in the USA. So now we're in a really good spot. Cosmic Frog has arrived at the docks in New York, and it's soon going to be on its way to the Flat River Group warehouse in Michigan. So it's heading on its way to Detroit. If we look down, we can see in the updates here. Let's see. Here it is. So he said as of today, the 28th of October, it has not arrived, but he's going to keep us posted. We come down a little bit further. It just arrived, or he just received word that Cosmic Frog has arrived in the U.S. warehouse the afternoon of October 30th, essentially. So it should be shipping next week. Well, this is next week, so it's shipping. So that means anybody that pre-ordered this game, it's going to their houses directly, and any retailer that is looking for this game, it's shipping to those retailers. I'm buying mine through Power to the Meeple, and so I'm going to have to wait for it to essentially leave from this warehouse, get to Power to the Meeple, and then from there I will be getting the game shipped out in conjunction with my order for Alma Mater, so my shipping's going to end up being free. I've been waiting on Alma Mater so that I could get the free shipping. Sometimes patience is the best way to save money. And so, yeah, really excited, though. Really glad that Jim Felly comes on Board Game Geek and gives out updates like this. It's very, very rare that you have a direct contact with the publisher about when things are going to arrive and things like that. So it's been really great how interactive he's been on Board Game Geek. That said, let's head over to Kickstarter. All right. So the first one on the list today is Endless Winter. This, if you can't see from there, the artwork is by the Miko. He's the guy that does all the games for the West Kingdoms series and Raiders of the North and all of that. Really, really popular artist these days. And from most people I talk to, everybody seems to love his art. I personally really am drawn to it. This is a deck building, worker placement, area control game. It's got a lot of different things going on. It looks really great. I don't think this would not be a bad back by any means. If you go in at any of these levels, you're gonna be able to get your money back. The thing that does worry me a little bit about this campaign is that nothing is labeled as Kickstarter exclusive. It looks like now they've done it. Okay. Well, when I first looked at this, they had not marked any of this as Kickstarter limited. So it does look like they have some exclusives here. Okay. Well, maybe that changes my opinion a little bit here. So this is going to be a better buy. I was going to say wait till retail because a lot of it's going to come out in retail and you're going to be able to buy it. And if not, you you would probably be able to save money with the MSRP and all of that being dropped at so many different retailers from kind of what they're quoting here. But if there's Kickstarter exclusive things like this ceremonial grounds module, digital soundtrack, I don't think that matters that much. But Canine Familiars module, these different things, if they are going to be Kickstarter exclusive, it makes it much more advantageous to back now. It'll retain its value better. What is this? This is new too. Washed minis with an ivory effect at 350,000 euros. How close are we to that? Okay. Yeah, so we've passed it in dollars, but it's in euros. So I don't know exactly how close that is. It's probably just a little bit off, but those look really nice. Otherwise, I've been looking at this game. I mean, there's so much cool stuff coming out. All these screen printed meeples, the player board with a linen finish. That's going to be super nice. Once again, another linen finish here. Just to have these boards that are linen finished rather than just cards, I mean, that just raises the quality up a ton. And then you get the screen printing over here on the meeples. So this game is reaching a lot of its stretch goals. A lot of it looks really intriguing, and it's one that's been on my mind as one that I could possibly back. It's definitely up my alley. But there's always a but. And in that but here is that there are so many things on Kickstarter right now. I've already said no to Twisted Fables, which is done and over, so I made a hard pass on that. So that's good. I made the hard pass on Frostpunk. Then there's Townsfolk Tussle. Really, really wanted Townsfolk Tussle. I made a hard pass on that. Darkest Dungeon, miniatures look awesome. Looks like a great game. Made the pass. There's so many games right now, especially in this $100 range, where I can only get one of them. And so a lot of times what I do when I start getting into that space where Kickstarter just has all these great deals going on is I actually take a step back. I stop backing projects. I know a lot of people end up saying, oh, this month's been really bad for my wallet. I've paid a lot of money for all these things. Rather than do that, rather than bust my budget and go way over, what I do is I take a step back and I say, okay, let's let the market figure out which one of these games is good. There's too many right now to make a choice. You don't want to make the wrong choice. So let's see what lasts. Let's see what is going to be the best game out of the bunch. These are all going to end up coming out around the same time, and certain ones are going to gain traction and other ones will not. And so rather than tie up all of these funds into these games that I've never played, although they look cool, I take a step back. And so as of right now, I've decided not to back this one either, simply because there's just too much good stuff right now, especially at this $100 range, which is right at the top of my budget. That said, I do have a couple more Kickstarters I want to look at because, well, I'm always looking. So project number 2 is HoopGodz. So this is closing out in 18 days. So you've got quite a bit of time. I'm recording this in the morning of Monday. Actually, I'm not recording on a Sunday. So this is legitimate. 18 days left. And this is by the same guys that did Rap Gods. And I have Rap Gods. I really enjoyed it. I didn't back the Kickstarter, but I got the Kickstarter edition straight from the publisher after it was released. And this is one that's definitely been on my eye. They're definitely bringing a new flavor to the board game world. The artwork is not really anything you'll find in another board game, at least that I've seen. I think they're going above and beyond as far as inclusivity. I mean, we have a character that's playing basketball in a wheelchair here. Obviously, you're talking that there's representation of women and people of color and things of that nature in this game as well. This company is always very forward about how they are trying to be an inclusive company that is making board games that appeal to, especially to individuals that usually don't see people like themselves in a board game. And I think that's really cool. Also, I'm a basketball coach. I'm an assistant women's basketball coach for a university. And so anything with basketball draws my eye. Generally, I don't really like sports in my board games mixing much, but I trust these designers, and so I'm actually pretty intrigued by this one. And the cost isn't crazy. It's like, I think it's, what is it? It's $35, and then shipping is somewhere around, I think it's $10. So it'd be like $45. So we're well below that, $100 range that I'm trying to avoid this month. Let's see, where are we at? I'm looking for the shipping here really quick. Did I pass it? I must have passed it. Shipping info, $8 to $12. So let's just project on the high side. It's $47. It is a game for 2 players, which does push the kind of what I usually go for when I go all in on a 2-player game. Like, that's a little high on the price side of things, but I do believe in the mission of this company. I do like the idea of playing a basketball board game in this context, and so I'm intrigued by this one. It's 3-on-3 as well, which I think actually works better for a board game. I think managing 5 different players and moving them around the board would have been difficult, so I thought that was a good choice there. And then this juice system was really interesting. So on your turn, you're going to spend juice, which is like how much effort you're putting out, and depending on how much you spend, they're going to go to different areas of your board here, making them easier or less easy to recover. So you could end up spending not a lot of effort so that you can do a lot more things on the next turn, or you can go all out, do some really crazy stuff, but then you're going to be tired and you're not going to be able to do as much in future turns. I think that's really cool. Additionally, you can mix your team up. Let me see, where are the characters at? Yeah. So each of the ballers have a different size. There's small, medium, and large. And you can have a team of all. You draft your team, so it's like you're picking teams out on the playground. So you can have a team of all guards, small players, or you could have a team of all forwards at that like medium size, or you can even have a full team of centers. And I really like that. That affects their skills throughout the game, right? The smaller characters are better with their handles. They can dribble better and cross people over, and the centers are better at dunking and blocking shots. And so it just thematically hits all the right notes for me. It looks exciting. So this is one that is actually on my radar to possibly back, even though I'm kind of like stepping away from Kickstarter right now. So we'll see. I don't know if that's going to be a back. If you think I should, put it in the comments. If you think this is one I should steer clear from, let me know why. I'm really curious. All right, let's move forward here. So Dire Alliance. This is one I'm not going to be backing due to the price point, but I had to bring it up because I want to get the news out. This game, you're not going to get a better deal on this game than backing this Kickstarter. Blacklist Games does a great job of rewarding people for going in now. Essentially, they have 2 lines. It's a little confusing. So they're creating this Dire Alliance series, and the first one in the Dire Alliance series is the horror genre. This is a game all in its own. It doesn't need any of the miniatures. You can just get this and play the game, and it'll be a good time. Then they also have a miniature line, and in this miniature line, they're doing all horror miniatures. That said, all of the horror miniatures work alongside this game. You could use them for other things if you do RPGing and you do different things where you need miniatures, or you just like to paint. But they're all compatible with Dire Alliance Horror, and so essentially they're working together. You can get the game for $50 or the miniatures for $70, or you can get both for $109. That's US dollars. And the reason this game is such a good deal, outside of what I think is going to be a very good game, is the way they do their stretch goals here at Blacklist. So all of the stretch goals, all right, let me get to them here. These are all Kickstarter exclusives, which means you're not going to get them elsewhere. So if we look over on the left side, this is all for the game, what's coming in at $50. If you look over on the right, this is everything that comes in with that $70 miniature pledge. Or if you get $109, you're going to get both of these. So there's a huge glob villain that's going to be coming up. And then you can get the huge glob miniature, which I think would be pretty cool. That was a special thing they did for Halloween. So, as we scroll down, you can see that, okay, you're going to get Irving, you're going to get the Irving villain deck. And then over here, you're getting the miniature for him. Then you're going to get this Quinn miniature. Then we have a Quinn hero pack. And so as you go down, I mean, the amount of extra stuff you get in this game for backing on Kickstarter, they're really rewarding their backers. I mean, look at all of this additional stuff you're going to get in the game. And so at $50, although, yes, when this goes to retail and is in the, different retailers like Miniature Market, Cool Stuff Inc., Power to the Meeple, it's going to be cheaper than $50. You will not have any of this additional stuff, though. And especially if you like minis, all of these minis added on for essentially free, that's going to be a good back. They had a fantasy miniature series. Yeah, here. It's 201 miniatures for $125. The original backers of this, I believe, paid $69 for it. So if you're an early adopter and get in quick, get in on this, you're going to end up saving a lot of money and a lot of cash by backing this. Now, if it wasn't $109, I'd probably be all in. I have thought about just doing the $50 pledge. I think it is worth it, and it is a possibility for me. I've got some time to consider it. This game, let me see how many days it has left. Sorry for all the scrolling, guys. All right, so it's got 15 days to go, so I got a little bit of time to think about it. All that said, as you may or may not know, Spiel Digital just happened too, and there were over, I think, 500 games released at Spiel Digital. So there were two that popped out to me, so I wanted to talk about those real quick as well. Bonfire is one of the latest Stefan Feld games. It's being brought out by Pegasus Spiel. Looks really interesting. It's definitely not your normal Feld theme. I mean, it's not named after a city. It's not in like Renaissance era Europe. It's definitely different. You are actually gnomes that are in different cities, and you are trying to appeal to these guardians of light to relight some bonfires that were essentially removed after the citizens took them all for granted and whatnot. And so you are these gnomes traveling to these guardians of light, which are going to give you quests, and then by completing those quests, you'll get bonfires lit, which will provide light for the town that you reside in. And so that just sounded like a really unique theme, especially for a Stefan Feld game. Here's the board. It looks a little chaotic, but looks really exciting all the same. I think perhaps this is a rondelle mechanism. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't looked into all of the mechanics. But here you have like your city. You're going to be building things out almost polyomino-like. But I don't think there's a huge variance in the shapes there like you would see in most polyomino games. Here's this rondelle that you're moving around, I believe, or you're going to acquire these different it's like worker placement, to get the different things here. I love these meeples with their hands in the air. I just think that's super cool to include something that's different. They could have just done simple wooden meeples that everybody's seen, but here they're out on these islands, so the Guardians of Light are going to send you out to do various tasks over here, and so you're going to be moving around and grabbing stuff. And so this one looked really interesting, and I do like Stefan Feld games, so I am curious about this one. The next game that I heard about at Spiel Digital was the Red Cathedral. And so in this game, you are Ivan the Terrible has asked you to work on the Red Cathedral in autumn, and so you are trying to do your best job to get the arches right and to really build the construction the best. Everybody at the table is a different construction company, and so you want to be the one chosen by Ivan the Terrible to have done the best job and to continue working on the Red Cathedral. So there's a rondelle in this one as well. I like rondelles, and there's dice as well. I don't know all the main mechanics, but the theme looked interesting. And overall, the presence of the board, I mean, it looks like a pretty small game, but from everything I've read, it packs a bit of a punch for as small of a game as it is. So I'm just really excited to see if this is maybe a more approachable Euro that's still pretty thinky that I can bring out kind of with the intermediate gamer, if that makes sense. And I do think, although the artwork is kind of common for Euro games, I do like it. I appreciate the way this box was done. It definitely looks like old world Russia. So I dig that. This is one that I've definitely been eyeing. All right, we've got time for one more game today, and I'm going to bring up Power Rangers deck building game. So it's really interesting. Renegade Games, it doesn't look like they're going to be using Kickstarter anymore, or maybe they're just trying this out, but they're going to be doing their crowdfunding over on CrowdOx, which is interesting because this is another pledge manager. And so it seems like what we're seeing is a lot of pledge managers. I did a whole video on GameFound coming out as a new crowdfunding platform. It looks like there might be a trend where more of these pledge managers are coming out as crowdfunding opportunities for companies. And so it'll be interesting to see how overwhelming that becomes and how many of these different platforms games are showing up on. But in this case, this one is launching November 10th, so it's like 8 days away. You can pre-order it now, so you can actually pledge before it even goes up. Put your $45 in, and we'll see what happens, right? But this is done by the same designer, Matt Hyra, or it might be Ira, that designed the DC deck builder. Man vs. Meeple was talking about this and said it was a very, very innovative take to deck building. You don't have to like Power Rangers to like this game. Like it offers a really unique and interesting experience. I personally I grew up on Power Rangers, so I'm definitely not averse to having Power Rangers in my games. $45 seems like a decent price for everything that's shown here. But we'll see. This is one that just caught my eye. I don't know if it's something I'm going to go in on. But I am a little concerned that it's going to be on CrowdOx. Like, I'm just waiting for all the pledge managers like BackerKit and some of the other ones out there to say, oh, we're crowdfunding now, and then we're going to have like 800 places to look to try and figure out what games we want to back. It's good for there to be competition, and I'm a fan of it. But I hope the water doesn't become muddy super quick. I guess if it does, the best will survive, right? Or at least where the most eyes are. I think Kickstarter could offer a pretty mediocre price, but because all the eyes are there, they don't really have to overcome much. Whereas these other companies that are just joining in are going to have to really provide a superior product to get people's eyes away from Kickstarter. So we'll see how that goes. If you have any thoughts about the addition of all these crowdfunding platforms, let me know in the comments below. If you want to let me know how to spend my money this month, please. I always need help. I always need guidance. Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this content, feel free to hit like, or if you'd like to see more, feel free to subscribe. Otherwise, this has been the Neoprene Playmat. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.